Good morning and good afternoon and good evening, wherever you're attending from. This is Haytham Al-Raisi, the ACFE authorized trainer in Oman and the president of ACFE Oman chapter. I have more than 19 years of banking experience. I have worked in audit, compliance, and risk management, and currently I'm the vice president and head of investigation and fraud risk management at one of the local banks in Oman. Today, I'll take you through what you need to know about the CFE course. So I'll explain how you can prepare for the CFE exam, and I'll break it into three main parts. What is CFE and how to be qualified for taking the CFE? How to apply and prepare for the exam? And how can we, as open thinking and authorized trainer, to support you in terms of joining our programs? So the first thing is, what is CFE? CFE is Certified Fraud Examiner certification issued by Association of Certified Fraud Examiners based in US, and it's considered one of the world's largest anti-fraud organizations. More than 35 years in fraud prevention and education. And there are more than 90,000 members, out of which 4,600 certified with Open Thinking Academy. Why would you need to take Certified Fraud Examiner? The certification will teach you the best practices when it comes to fraud prevention and investigation. And it will build on your existing anti-fraud knowledge and expertise. So for example, if you are an internal auditor or a compliance officer or a risk manager, Certified Fraud Examiner certification will help you build upon your existing knowledge and give you a credibility of applying the best practices when it comes to fraud prevention and investigation. When you take the certification and you become a certified fraud examiner, you can use the CFE after your name. So you become officially similar to any other professional certification like CPA and other certifications. That's one of the things that happen if you take the certified fraud examiner. The question is, how can we become eligible for and become a certified fraud examiner? ACFE, Association of Certified Fraud Examiner, uses eligibility points system. So you must have a minimum of 40 points to be eligible to take the CFE exam. And if you want to have the CFE credential, you must have a minimum of 50 points and a minimum of 2 years in job related to anti-fraud. It could be fraud detection, investigation, or deterrence. So for example, if you work in audit or compliance or risk management or cybersecurity or law enforcement or loss prevention, you are qualified already to be a certified fraud examiner because that's the eligibility when it comes to professional working experience requirement. There are also individuals from other domains where their role including fraud prevention, such as accountant, security management, who also can take the CFE course. So when it comes to the requirement of education, there is a requirement of bachelor degree minimum or equivalent from an academic or a higher education. Bachelor degree will give you 40 qualifying points. There is no specification in terms of the field of the study. So any field, if you have studied, let's say, psychology or any field, you are actually eligible for getting the 40 points, provided that you have studied for 4 years. And if you don't have a bachelor degree, you may also substitute 2 years of fraud-related professional experiences for each year of the academic study, which means, so if you have a bachelor degree in a field, you will gain 40 points. If you have a master degree, you will have an additional 5 points. And if you have a PhD, you already have an extra 10 points. And if you have a professional experience where you have an experience of, let's say, 10 years, 10 points will be given for every 10 years in the field related to fraud. It could be, again, audit, accounting, investigation, and law enforcement, or maybe HR, even HR, if you had to handle any fraud-related cases. And those who are doing their bachelor degree and they are considered as a senior students at the university, they can also take the exam and then be certified after completing 2 years professional experience. So actually, there is nothing that stops you from taking and earning this credential. So what is the process when it comes to applying for CFE applications? So the CFE certification roadmap is that you need to join the ACFE membership. And if you take our package, the membership is already included if you decided to join our courses. And then you prepare and pay for the exam. The exam fees will be covered if you are joining our courses. And then you submit the qualification and experience evidences, and then you need 3 recommendations from the existing CFE who holds the CFE credentials to give you attestation that they recommend you to be the CFE. For that, don't worry, because we will be supporting you, we'll be helping you, and we'll be guiding you through the process in terms of submitting the recommendations, also getting the approval required to go and do the examination. And then once you decided, you may actually schedule your exam. You may schedule your exam by taking the exam in person, which I mean in the nearest testing center, or you may be taking it at home online, where, however, we prefer to advise that students should take it to the nearest center because of the connectivity that could the student suffer from. And once you're done with the examination, you will actually receive a digital badge where you can actually share it online through social media. And after passing the exam, the 4th exam, the physical certificate will be mailed to you to the address that you have registered at the ACFE website, which will take approximately 6 to 8 weeks. Now, since we understood about the certification, let's understand what exactly is the certificate about, how many subjects. So the certificate will give you the best practices when it comes to fraud detection, investigation, and law and prevention. So the exam are 4 parts, and each part is 100 multiple choice questions, and you have 2 hours to complete each exam. So for example, you have fraud prevention and deterrence, you have financial transactions, you have fraud investigation, you have legal elements of fraud. Those are the 4 sections that you need to complete. So for each section, you have to carry out an exam and book your exam and complete your exam. For example, in an investigation, you will learn about how to gather evidences, types of evidences, and the interview techniques and reporting mechanism that it requires as per the ACFE. And when it comes to financial transactions and fraud schemes, during that session, you will be able to understand what are the asset misappropriation, consumer fraud, identity theft, and the concepts related to accounting. I also learned during that session topics such as cyber fraud, financial institutions, payment fraud, and insurance fraud. And then we have this third section, which is the law. During that session, you will have the understanding of individual rights when it comes to examination, what rights those individuals have when you interview them. And we'll talk about the civil and criminal law, their basic principles, and the evidences uh, related to fraud and testifying as well. In this section, you also will understand the fundamental of money laundering and bankruptcy and tax fraud. The fourth section is the last section, which is the fraud prevention and deterrence. Here you will explore about topics such as fraud risk assessment, fraud prevention program. You'll be able to understand the internal control requirement and the role of the audit and role of the board of directors and management when it comes to fraud prevention and detection. Now, why would you take CFE? That's a question most of the people would ask. I would say, in Oman, we have people taking the CFE as per the compensation 2024 guide. It says that majority who takes CFE certifications, you might be surprised for this, is that auditors are the most common job functions who take CFE. So actually, CFE are not just for the fraud investigations. In fact, internal audit found to be the most common role or function that takes CFE certification. In fact, when it comes to Oman and GCC, many institutions, including banks and tech companies, require CFE certification to manage the fraud and other financial crime positions. And in fact, in oil and gas and insurance, some specific insurance companies, they actually ask for people who have the certification, CFE certificate. If you are in Oman and you wanted to be an expert in a course, CFE actually opens the door for you. So the CFE gives you the credibility and the benchmark when it comes to, providing your expertise or carrying out investigation. And never, regardless whether you're working in audit or you're working in banking or any industry or compliance, this applies to all the areas that, or all the industries. If you have a CFE certificate as per the 2024 compensation guide, it says that CFE holders earns 32% more than their non-certified counterparts. This is very clearly shows that those who have CFEs will eventually earn more than their counterparts. In fact, in Middle East and Africa, 30%, there is an increase of 30% difference for those who have CFE in comparison with those who don't have CFEs or non-CFEs. According to the ACFE anti-fraud professionals, Middle East counts 15.7% holders of CFEs, which is the second largest number when it comes to holders of CFE. In fact, those who works in the United States comes to the Middle East for work because the people here, our companies are paying more for those who have the CFE certifications. So when we talk about certified fraud examiners, we take you through different topics that we have. So this is something that we call fraud tree. And in fraud tree, we have different topics. We explore about corruption and how corruption happens and what other types of corruptions. We actually go and talk about the British Act, the UK Act, and the US Act when it comes to corruption. We will talk about asset misappropriation. We touch upon skimming and cash larceny. Those two items that are different. And as per the ACFE, the most common type of fraud is asset misappropriation. And the most impactful type of fraud is financial statement. So we also explore topics related to um, financial statement manipulation, such as overstating assets, understating the expenses, and regardless whether you have a bachelor degree in accounting or you don't have a bachelor degree, you don't need to worry about it because we actually don't talk about the financial statements in detail. We explore how can we investigate topics related, how fraud is investigated and financial statements. So you will be able to understand the fundamental and principles related to financial statement fraud. And not only that, we also take you through investigation. We will talk about how fraud examination investigation carried out and how the gathering of evidence are being obtained and how they are actually presented to the court and how the interview is conducted with the um, suspect, witness, and other parties who are involved in the fraud examination, during the fraud examination. So why would you take that CFE? We actually, Open Thinking, have two format of delivering the course. So you have in-person program and you have virtual sessions. In-person are delivered across GCC and Malaysia, and virtually you can also attend all over the place. If you are staying in US, you actually attend in the US. For example, if you are attending our in-person session, which are 4 days, you have the option to take the CFE course in the morning and take the exam at the evening. So every day you can take the session, go and attend the exam. There are actually members who went and participate who took the exams after taking the session, because everything that is being taught during the session are actually fresh for you to grasp and remember during your exam. So we deliver also a 4 days session, which is for every topic 1 day. And at the end of the day, you have the option to actually do your exam. We have also um, another concept of doing in 4 weeks. So during this session, every week you will get to know about a specific topic. For example, investigation techniques. You will understand it. You will attend 2 sessions. Each session for each topic length is 2 hours and a half. After 1 week, you can actually take that exam and go with the second session, attend the entire 1 week, and then at the end of the week, you are actually, or end of the month, you are actually a certified fraud examiner. Or maybe you can just attend the course and then decide at your own pace uh, to take the exam. So that's how we schedule our courses. So what exactly is the package that you can take or you get from our attending our programs? You get membership, 1 year membership. You actually get CFE um, exam that is included. You also get the online manual. You can also get the CFE exam prep course, which is very specifically made for you to, pass the exam. There, you actually get CFE course workshop, which is the workshop that summarizes all the things that you need to know. Otherwise, what happens if you're taking the self-study has 2,000 pages. The manual has more than 2,000 pages. So for this program actually helps you, shorten that time. And then you also get CFE exam flashcards that you can open in your mobile, being everywhere in the application. You can see the questions and answer and open and understand the principles and concept. You also can you also get the CFE exam review course and then the 30 CPE course certificate. And if you're attending virtually, you get it virtually. And if you're attending in person, you get it in person. And that CPE course or certificate will exempt you from the CPE requirement as per the ACFE for the first year. So actually, this is an investment that you can make um, for you. So as I stated, that we have 4 weeks virtual classes or course, which are evening classes, and they are everywhere at the time that is suits you. So whether you are attending from US or Canada or any other country, you can actually have the option of taking evening classes. And the evening classes or virtual classes that cost you around 2,179 dollar plus VAT. And if you would like to travel or attend in person, you have different options. You may attend in Dubai, you may attend in Muscat. For example, in Muscat, we have our session, our next CFE course review will be conducted on February 8th till February 11th, 2026. And if you are in Kuwait or Malaysia or Maldives or anywhere, you actually have a time frame where you can attend the 4 days in-person course and also explore the place if you are attending for those areas. So the course, in-person course, it costs around $3,179 plus VAT. So those are the four days in-person courses which are also available as per Open Thinking. So what are you waiting for? We have more than 3,500 anti-fraud professionals who attended our CFE course review. You may, recognize some of these faces, those who attended online CFE exam review courses. We have also people who have attended in person. So we have more than 1,000 professionals who passed the CFE exam course with us, with Open Thinking, who attended in-person sessions. So if you have any questions when it comes to CFE, I'm available. Open Thinking Academy is also the exclusive authorized trainer when it comes to the program in GCC in Malaysia and other countries. If you are attending from outside GCC, you have the option to take the course virtually. And if you decided, you may email us or DM us I'm available at LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to serve you and support you through your journey with ACFE. Wish you all the best and take care.